My name is Derek Hartman of Switchblade. Just recently we put out a newsletter that addresses the issue in regards to changing out your blade drive. Today we're going to show you how to change out that blade drive. We're going to use the Andis model, both the AG and also the AGC. So let's get started. First, we are going to remove the blade drive on the Andis AG series. It's a square body clipper. In order to get to the blade drive, we have to remove the top housing. For this operation, we have to use two different size Phillips screwdrivers. A number 2 Phillips screwdriver in order to remove the hinge, and also the screws for the housing of the clipper. And then we're going to use a number 1 Phillips to remove the blade drive. So we'll take our number 2 Phillips and let's go ahead and remove the hinge on this clipper. Now this clipper has already been serviced, so it's pretty well clean. But normally when you remove this hinge on this clipper, you will have a lot of buildup of hair in this drive assembly. So what you want to do is take your force dryer and you want to blow all this hair out. Inserted right here is a little spring. You don't want to lose that. That provides a little support for your hinge. So we'll put that to the side. Next we'll go ahead and take our number 2 Phillips and we are going to back out the screws for the housing. You have two different length size on the screws. You have a long size for the top portion of the clipper, and you also have a smaller size length for the bottom portion of your clipper. And I highly recommend that you change out the blade drive each month. It makes a big difference in the performance of your clipper and also in your grooms. So between replacing out your blade drive on a monthly basis and by cleaning your clipper blades, you'll reduce your maintenance cost more than 50%. So now I'm going to place the clipper down and I'm going to hold the bottom portion of this cord, grab a hold of the case, and we are going to remove this top case. Okay. You have a little slider piece inside. Go ahead and remove that. And then what I would do is that I would take a screwdriver and usually there's hair buildup between the slots. I would go ahead and knock that hair out, either use a screwdriver or use your force dryer. Now we'll take our number 1 Phillips and we are going to remove the blade drive. I'm going to pop it off. And exposed is this bearing that your blade drive sits on top of. When you remove your blade drive, I highly recommend that you take your finger and turn this bearing. If it feels smooth, you're good to go. If it feels gritty, then this bearing really needs to be replaced, because what happens is that it starts to strip out and it's putting a lot of stress onto your clipper, and you want your clipper to run nice and smooth. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to put on a new blade drive. So to take a new blade drive, you have 2 flats on the back here. You're going to turn it over and you want to align the flats to the flats of your casing and just snap it on. Then we'll take again our number 1 Phillips and go ahead and screw in the blade drive. You just want to screw it to the point that it's snug. You do not want to over tighten it, because you could tend to strip out the internal threads on the motor mount. Now that we got the blade drive on, I'm going to go ahead and insert back the slider switch. Hold the clipper down, and we are going to make sure that the cord is sitting right. Take the housing, line it up, and snap it on. Now I'm going to take the lower screws, and it really doesn't matter which order you do it with, and I am going to, again, this is a smaller screw. You want to make sure you have the smaller screw at the bottom. If you use the longer length screw, you're going to end up piercing the case, and you don't want to do that. Then you have to get a new case. Again, you just want to tighten it to it's a little snug. Do not over torque it. And one more screw. Got that snug. I'll take our little hinge spring. We're going to insert it in the cutout for it. We're going to take our hinge. We're going to line it up. Again, your number 2 Phillips. And everything you just want to snug. You do not want to over torque. And that's it. As simple as that, and it takes less than 5 minutes to do. Okay, the next clipper that we are going to change out the blade drive is going to be the Andis AGC, and this one is a little bit easier to replace that blade drive because we do not have to remove the top housing. This clipper has a removable blade cap, so we just pop it off and there is the blade drive is exposed. Again, for this operation we are going to need to use a number 2 Phillips to remove the hinge, and a number 1 Phillips to back out the screws for the blade drive. So let's go ahead and remove the hinge. We're taking the number 2 Phillips, and I'm backing this piece out. And then go ahead and grip the hinge and the bottom portion of the latch right here, and just remove it and make sure it's intact. You have a support bracket for your hinge. We'll go ahead and remove that piece. And again, generally this whole area will be covered with hair, so I highly recommend take a force dryer, blow it all out. We'll flip it over, take our number 1 Phillips, and we are going to remove this blade drive. Removing the blade drive on the AGC is, again, very easy to do and is much faster than the AG series. Pop out the blade drive, and again we're going to turn this bearing with our finger to make sure that it's nice and smooth. It is. And if there's still any more hair here, you want to blow all that hair out away from that bearing. What occurs on a regular basis is that hair will actually wrap around that bearing and it will start to strip it out. It will also put a lot of stress on your clipper. So that's another reason why you really need to change out that blade drive each month, because that way you'll get into a routine to make sure you can get all of that hair out around the blade drive assembly area. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to put the blade drive back on to the clipper. Again, you have two flats here. You want to make sure they match up to the flats on your casing. Line it up, pop it on. Then we'll take our number 1 Phillips screwdriver and we will refasten the blade drive. Again, do not over tighten this, just tighten it down to where it's snug. Here we go. Flip the clipper back over. We're going to take our insert piece and we're going to lay it inside the clipper. Take a hold of our hinge and the latch. Line it up. Take the hinge screw. And we are fastening the hinge back into the clipper. Got it snug. Next step, take our removable blade cap and put that back onto your clipper and you're ready to go. Again, by changing out your blade drive each month, you are going to improve your grooms, you're going to increase your productivity, and you're going to reduce your cost in the maintenance of both of your clipper and on your blades.